Hi, I'm Erica Hunt. It's October 10, 2024. Reader, we were meant to meet. Reader, we were meant to meet and not disappear in the dredging. The edited ledgers omit antiphonal groans. Reader, you were meant to be legible, even in the failure to communicate. Your will to resist, snatching defeat from the jaws of easy victory. The truth will slip in, even as a figure of speech. Reader, step into my room. This page faces you. What will I miss if you blink? What blots the ink, pens and hems the imagination? What hides in the brackish back stories hostile to the wobbled word? What resists being pinned to the truth? Reader, we are carbon and more. The exact degree of life is inestimable. Some of us chew ice and others suck chalk. Some crave salt before there is savor. Others can never be too full of sugar or bourbon, sucker punched and stunned by death's pugnacious brawl. Into dream time, into song, extending both ends, night into day. Touch, reader. We were meant to touch, to exchange definitions and feed the pulse of language. I promise, if you step in, it will propel you, me, it, topple distinctions, ease doubts and beliefs, all that in between. This is an excerpt from Mood Librarian, a work in progress. How did you get your name? I am the second daughter of a second daughter of a second daughter in a luminous loop stitch of girls and women who test the rope, who sell the shadow to support the substance, who push the outer out from the out of bounds, who mime duty to weave our daily bread, who unthread and rewind at night. Oh yes, we learned never to turn our backs to them, lest they underestimate us. Never let them assume and erase us. The them that consume and appropriate us. The them that see my body as a calculus, subtract the profit from sacrifice to their unquenchable God, an almighty dollar, pence and pound of flesh, for whom no labor is ever enough, demanding our work from can't see to can't see, rock-busting, stone-busting, bone-crushing, false God, blind to suffering. We fashioned hollers and bone calls, blues and hymns to blunt the toll, pay bills due for ransom in order that our daughters live. Rise above zero and raise daughters that liberate their children's children from a stubborn clay, this catastrophic dust imagined as freedom. Tell me again, how did you get your name? When my nearest neighbor takes the air on her porch, her eyes closed at rest or prayer, turned inwards to her youth, she resembles my mother restored to an earlier, older self, comfortable in her robe's faded folds, her hair satin scarf wrapped and impossible. I exhale a kiss to her as if she was my mother, risen from the rest where she has been waiting death, just like the rest of us, just a much closer to the door. She throws an encouraging smile and revives me from unacknowledged slumber. The way she sees me helps me to see me, helps me to see me, reassembled and framed, a specific noun linked to a verb, unwavering and named. Have you ever come across a book that tells you something about yourself that you did not know? Perhaps you meet the gaze of a person looking out from that book in a turn of phrase, in a photo, a sculpture, or canvas. It holds your stare so that you trip over the seam of uncanny resemblance. Did you think then, how did they know? How did they see? How did they find that opening between the page and the word? But how did you get your name? Answer. I was a child of testing. Tests to supply proof of a valued life, and tests to gauge possible failure. Tests to check in on the already said, and tests to confirm tests as a way of thinking. There was always a test in which one could have scored higher to improve upon luck in the casino simulation of the odds held in the actuarial table of Black life, living through minus to minus, never knowing where their zero stalks, my black marking a bullseye, even when I didn't know it, like when the cab driver said to me, once I got into the car, "You hailed me as if you were a white man," and then demanded I leave the car. Question. What is the Black way of hailing a cab? How did you get your name? It may have been a coincidence, but the year the boss was elected was also the year we experienced a great variety of mayhem firsthand, more than rumored apocalypse handed down by grandparents or parents to read about in the far away, anywhere but here. In our midst, the bad enough commenced to bleed with no end to the end, precursors of disasters, unending doing. The boss accelerated failed science to fuel his swagger, multiplied sociopathic ideas to which we were already susceptible, vulnerable on arrival. Disarmed the armor with casually toxic syntax. The boss was bluster and seduction, fluent in the language of God's green acres pronounced over someone else's land, bucolic and folksy, with an unconcealed evil and brutality for others. Intent on harm, the boss heaped blame on flame until flame licked white, racing to the top of self-gain. Oh, the boss stoked anger at strangers, and the flames were easy to fan, opened a better view for the crowd to watch them burn it all down. The boss was chief firemaster, a paint thinner and a match striker, every surface emblazoned with his persimmon face, his eye-rolling pageantry. Burn it all down. The crowd looked like foot soldiers in search of the next lynching, fanning outward, watching for its next enemy. It's someone else to undo. It's them to unstick and force us into kissing gravel, the power of death, undoing. Who shares an enemy who shares the same sun, the same bottom of the clock, the same stick in the eye, the same pattern of shadow cast from the feet, the same resolve when breath stops mid. This is from a lamentation called Veronica. Was the critic and poet Tyrone Williams, who recently passed, who called me and said, you know, Veronica is a anagram of Erica. Veer iconic into the sucking pools of lost recordings that veer iconic beyond moan. where there is nothing to count on, question, quote, in prearranged territories that eliminate safe harbor, break thought limits, grief, barely marked, the massacres, the multiplied, brutal lack. Someone matching your description. You wake me up, Veronica, to escort you to the door, to the unknown, and I am slapped awake and paperless, my eyeglasses abandoned on the ledge. I'm startled, a tongue triggered dry, staring into eyes emptied of the exact shape of mercy. Your eyes are ice. You, Veronica, are beside yourself. Your face is a burned down house. Oh, count me in so I can walk with you, Veronica, though you will be mostly alone, even dry-eyed at the funeral. Being of two minds is not enough. When Jacob wrestled with an angel, I wonder who wrestles with me or you even. Who argues reasonable doubt when I know they never leave their guns? They carry them in churches, bars, courtrooms. They put scare quotes around the world. They are never mistaken. There are no words for mistake. No words for mistake, no reason for indefinite register. They speak in a prose that refuses to be tamed by thought's inflection, always mad as hornets in a front pocket. They stick on the fare, they're stuck on the fare of deserved reprisal, the axe that never quite falls. Hold that thread, please. So they call to quarry, prey, footstool, and chattel, someone's back to stand on, to enable them to climb the ladder faster, unletter the ladder faster, and limit equality to a single call, a single meaning, a single tongue, a simple song for how long. There are no words for mistake, no obvious thread that binds the master to the missing, to the ever-ending supply of mastery. Even sleeping histories, abolished fictions live on absent the bigot, whose afterthought is our undermine. Only knowing, one knowing what is known from before, and knowing what the owners of copious knowing know without speaking, say without saying exactly. Be my scapegoat, my sex toy, my just dessert, my bowl of candy, my pencil thought, my extinction. Ghost names. Veronica, whose ghost name is Vida, wept to be a grandmother at 35. For don't stones desire to be touched? Veronica, whose ghost name was Yvette, who other girls lay in wait to fight every day, bitten by one fierce girl, while other girls laughed so out of body they never noticed the bites scarring their own bituminous skin. Veronica, whose ghost name was Evelyn, was murdered by her husband, for even a rock wants to dance and not to be hurled and broken. Veronica, whose ghost name was Henrietta, brought from Antigua at 16 to warm a stone of a man almost 3 times her age, outlived him and her 7 children. Veronica, whose ghost name is Martha, whose rage at martyrdom turned her arms into resting missiles, all knew never to cross. A heart will move from one side to the other, catastrophe, or it gets hit in the head, or shoved, always out of nowhere, pulled by the reins of female obedience, killing us. Suspicious activity. Says a newspaper quote, 43% of the people killed were not in the middle of committing a crime, but were stopped for suspicious activity. Arresting face. She abandoned the cloud and chose to go out on foot. She was missing a grin. She knocked at the wrong intersection. He defeated a matchstick. He crossed on the diagonal. They moved past an uncovered spot. They lost pump. He was bowing in erratic directions. She ran by spurious gloat. They were potential troublemakers. They did not fit the turned-down dressing of the neighborhood, who was speaking in concealed carry. He bolted out, cork dizzy, thinking free from the lockdown. She traced the body that refused to fit a grammar of disappearances. She studied how Black people getting excited in a manner different than others drive some people to blunt displays of panic and violence. She studied how Black people getting elected in a manner broader than others drive some people to blunt displays of panic and violence. Lamenting in an appropriate structure has rendered her hoarse from not screaming. Lamenting in an appropriate structure has rendered her hoarse from not screaming. She is blind from reading from inside her lids. I would show you where it happened on a map, but the cursor of the public's attention has vanished. Upon another acquittal, a choreography of grief for Mamie Till, Sabrina Fulton, Samira Rice, and Geneva Reed Veal. She had needed to heal, but she had promised. Her blues angled, slipped out, capsized, traveled a long distance underwater. The sun casts a blurry silence, and looking, refused border filled her mouth with scorch. And when I saw her fall into herself, not her first grief, and crumple in an instance, knowing no justice will ever be found, could be found, where nothing is said out loud, and when it is said or wailed, the something said is something that no one hears. Everything will be taken from you. Even more than you know will be taken away. And it will sever you, make you swerve, stagger, as if punched in the heart or in a part you can't easily name, talked over, punched into so that you pivot as if it were possible to get out of the way. I write as if words will suspend your fall, gentle you, when there is no departing agony. Broken English. It's a lamentation. Wound up in words, wounded, re-wounded. The beaten, bulleted body repeats wound, reads into ache, or not, red, already, or not, be red, be read, be broken, be broken, syllables, detachment. It's not better. No, remember, it's not better. Remembered, it renders, speechless, tenderness, it's skin, kindred, like kindling into broken states, rendering illegible and unintelligible, where blackness suppressed by laws, severed tongues, to cower us, and scowl us dead, mute. Yet I, to speak all at once, the thing that has been on my mind, which words, verbs recover dignity, restores letters to the unmuzzled, full-throated sound, as in some, somebodied. The dead lines teach the proper order of time. Scorched zones of propriety's intention returns me day after day to variations of question. How to breathe freely, despite shackle, rattle, and pummeled jolts. Where does glare recede? When do words lead to care, beyond sight and out of sight? A path to better resist. This might take a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. How am I doing on time?
I think you have about 5.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go a little over, but hold on.
How much time, Mary?
We're roughly 25 minutes.
Oh, really? Huh? See.
So yeah,
Okay.
5 to 8 minutes.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think Brigitte is just showing up in like 10,
Okay.
12 minutes.
Okay. Is this the last draft? Ooh. Oh, well, it's close enough. That's right.
Take your time.
I am going to change the mood in a minute, but first, one more. Decreation. I am the storm. I remake the dust. I remove the creatures of the sea. I devour forests. I unwind the Amazon and dry the Nile. I sip the Mississippi, unzipping it from the Gulf. I command the birds to break their eggs and to eat their young with the toasted bark of trees, exposing the trees' tender flesh to the sun. I uncover the earth, remove the grasses, bare the soil. I boil the delicate rocks in the sun. It's my property to take back. I break into the veins of the planet in order to refine its molten geology, unwind it, run it forward fast, pull out the fossils so that I can make new fossils from our flesh. I summon the guardians of hell and I put them on top of the earth. I command all the creatures to bow down before me. The process of disembowelment takes time, so I don't do it all at once. I escape notice. I am the storm. My brothers and sisters, we are storms. We are bored by the gentle. No direction. That's Mr. Trump. His first line. The first line is his, I am the storm. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I have a few more minutes, huh? Okay, let's end down a little bit on an slightly better note. I think it's around here. Yeah, here it is. Love's an accident that detains you. You've come all this way and the road breaks down into branches, the way lost. Car parts litter the road, force you into the breakdown lane, and you lift your head as if there is something to see coming toward you at the scene of the accident, but there is nothing to see. That's different, only piano silences that break through the patches. Nothing but your number facing up and the broken traceries of your hand. Nothing but the middle between you and your destination. But nothing is as it seems. Smoke or zeros mix all this way to have dropped the key or the ball, missed the boat or the point, all that splashy show of omnipotence, only to have the remote grabbed from your hands and the button set on unstoppable independent motion, all that dread frozen into place. Is it dread that keeps you from waking or moving out of the way? The train, the truck, the ambulance picks up speed. It's headed your way, a flashing light. The pedestrians have scattered. The flash catches you within its frame, a pinhead in its sights. You look in the mirror a long time, trying to reconstruct the look of surprise that formed there, but catch instead that line of the jaw you seem to have inherited from someone in your family, a trick of age. One face supplants another, a formula opening, as in once upon a time, and you appear only older. First note, last note, the same. And when you finally awake, you have not missed a beat. With toys of fortune, we try our hands in time, win or lose. We throw ourselves into the rhythm of the wager, an easy game of back and forth. The dice tumble, contained within the paradoxical limit of win or lose. You know, no matter the stakes, the house always wins. But oh, how burnt carbon tastes across the lips. Love is an exquisite dance for fools. We dare each other to fall into each other's arms. We practice and pretend to spin. We even bounce over the speed bumps to savor provisional suspension. Context is all. This me, not that me, that them, no, the other them, that we, or this. We, all we, both of them, and all of we, when there, not here, but me, then, before then. And before we, when we, how we, when we spoke then, never spoke back to them, silent we, resilient we, and as an existential us, observing with restraint and bemusement, terror, a noisy them, a childish them, and if we overspoke, we spoke using our bodies to them, head tilted or hand back at them, or facing them with all our backs, never breaking face, so massed to all senses of them, all tenses of we, overprepared. Freedom ignites in me plenitude, that sense rain, sense the sky is full of surprising music, timpani, trumpet, a blue tent torn that orders cogent, cumulative event in which no false intonation claims itself king. Overall, no, every last woman, man, and child, proof the rain falls and is never worn out. Freedom is the breaking point beyond rage. I'm not scared, and I don't care whether dream undertakers have warned me not to take too much, not to love too much, not to look closely at the past. What could there be left to break? There's nothing left to be broken. There's nothing left to be taken. Thank you.